Hey, everybody, welcome back for day 78 of 100 Days of Halloween. I hope you are doing well and enjoying your Wednesday. So, 100 Days of Halloween. What are we doing? I do have several new people, so I'm going to give you a real quick rundown to kind of catch up to speed, and then we'll get on with the festivities. So, my lovely yarny friend and sister Ranee over at the Woolly Llama Shop was discussing with several of us on a live back in July that she was wanting to do a special project for the 100 Days of Halloween. And for each day of the 100 days, she was wanting to make a 6-inch by 6-inch approximately granny square with either a fall or Halloween themed motif or applique or colorway or something. And then slowly put them together because in the South it is very, very warm when this all got started back at the end of July. And I thought it was a brilliant idea. I wanted to join in because I'd been wanting to do a Halloween and fall themed blanket for quite a long time. Just was always too busy with lifey stuff. And so this was the perfect opportunity. And that way I could support my yarny friend and sister and join in solidarity, and that way we could help keep each other accountable too. So, what she did was she searched the interwebs, she compiled this big long list of all these different squares and appliques, and decided she was going to give each one a number in the list and draw those numbers at random from her Jinx Jack o' Lantern of Joy. Now, she has kind of had to pivot a couple times because very early on, spiders overtook her blanket and um, they decided it was going to go a different direction. So she's had to pivot. I think it's awesome. I love the fact that her blanket is the blanket that spiders built. And if you do not know who she is and have not seen those videos, you need to go check her out. I, it- I find so much joy in watching what's going on with her blanket. I just can't even tell you. I look forward to her videos every day. And then we also had some other Yarny friends and sisters who decided they were going to join in, but could not commit to as large of a project as a blanket. So we have Patricia over at the Yarny Cat Crochet who is making smaller projects. And it started off with just one, and that was the only one that we knew about. And she has since surprised us with more. She started off making a crocheted like crossbody bag so she could carry her phone, keys, wallet, etc. while she's out and about during the fall season doing fall festivities. And then she turned around and made a matching scarf, and now she's working on amiguramis. So, if you don't know who she is, please go check her out. All of these ladies will be linked in the description box for all of these 100 Days of Halloween videos. Please go check them out. They are so much fun. And then we also have Nova over at Nova Gnome Creations. She had a lot of lifey stuff transitions going on, and she could not commit to a blanket either. She decided she was going to do squares. However, those squares are going to be made into wearables for herself and some very near and dear littles in her life for the Halloween season. And she is not going to let us see those projects until I think it's the 13 days of Halloween. And I don't even know which day she will finally show us, but I am anxiously awaiting to see the finished projects because she has given some video updates on the squares, and they are amazing. And I can't wait to see what they all turned into. And then there's me. I decided I was going to do the blanket along with Rainy. I wanted to challenge myself to do the 100 squares in 100 days. So far, we are still on track up to day 78. So I think we're doing good, even through, as Rainey puts it, I was a trooper through COVID. And during my vacation, I still managed to get these things done. Um, And so what I'm doing a little different is, yes, I have used some of the squares that Ranee has drawn and providing those free patterns of tutorials on a daily basis for you guys. But I have also been finding my own and getting inspiration from you guys, Raney, Nova, Patricia, things I see on TV, etc. And I've ended up freehanding a lot of appliques that I did not anticipate doing. But yeah. So any square that I do, I will always in the description box have the information for that day's square. And if there is a video tutorial or and I've got something popping up on my screen. If there's a video tutorial or a blog post written pattern, you will be able to find it there in the link to that said information. If it's free-handed by me and there's no pattern, I am also putting that in there so you know that you can't search it. Maybe at some point when I have time, I may revisit some of them and try and do patterns for them to make them available. But for right now, with the steam rolling on this blanket, I just don't have time. Hopefully later. But so I'm counting down my blocks in groups of 10. It's easier for me to keep track of. And once I get a group of 10 done, I am doing a video short to upload so that it's kind of like a little 10 square recap before I feed them into my blanket. And my blanket, when I say feed them to my blanket, Rainey's blanket is the blanket Spiders built, and she has nicknamed my blanket the blanket that black cats built or kitties built. Yes. I love black cats, so they are all over my blanket. And I am still searching for more. Um, yes. So, okay, we have completed all of them through 1 through 70. And so this batch of 10 we're working on is 71 through 80. Today we are on square 78. So let's do a little recap starting with day 71 and see where we're at leading up to today. And then we're going to draw my random square out of the Boo Box of Fate to see what square we are working with tomorrow. So for day 71, I had just gotten back from vacation, realized that in the midst of everything and drawing squares to prep for vacation and get those videos recorded, I forgot to draw a square so I could get back into recording once I got home. So we had to put together a square, and this one is the pumpkin granny square by Repeat Crafter Me. It's available on her site, and like I said, it'll be linked in the description box. But it's also available in a blanket pattern where it's and I keep meaning to try and find what I did with the pattern. I have it printed to see how many of these squares you have to do for that full blanket pattern on yarnspirations.com. So that was day 71. Then for day 72, we drew out at random the Moonlight Cat Granny Square. This is by the Crocheted Bean. I believe it's a written pattern and also a video tutorial. Um, and basically, you start off with the black in the center, then you switch over to white for the moon, then you switch to blue to square it off. You put these little stars on there and put some little whiskers. She doesn't do eyes or a nose. I chose to leave it that way as well because it gives it one of the Black Cat retro vibes. So that was day 72. Then for day 73, we drew out this pumpkin spice, and I just showed Josie. So what did I put on it? One of the group of 5 ghosties that we've been working on. This one happens to be number 4. We'd already done Frankie. We'd done the pumpkin ghost, and I made it look like he was in a pumpkin patch. We've done the witchy ghost. And so we put the vampire ghost on this one. And we only have one more left to put on a square within the next however many 22 days we have left. And that one will be a pirate ghosty at some point. So there was that one. And that those ghosties are a pattern for a ghost banner with the 5 different ones, little trick or treat ghost, and that's by the caffeinated snail. And then for day 74, we drew out at random one of the Red Heart Super Saver squares in the Jumbo Stripes Brights. I had done a bunch of these because I liked the way the colors flowed, and none of the squares were exactly the same. And so we chose to leave it blank. We're being strategic because I do have some appliques that are too large for just one square. And hopefully, we will be able to implement those in by placing some of these together that will go well together and fit those in before our blanket is done. And then for day 75, we drew out a very wine colored maroon square. And I chose to do one of the appliques that Ranee had drawn out at random, called the Candy Corn Unicorn by Golden Lucy Crafts. And I thought this colored square would set off the oranges and the yellows really well. And I like how it turned out. She is super cute. And it's given me inspiration to want to make a unicorn, um, candy corn unicorn amigurumi. So I'm hoping I will be able to get to work on that sometime soon. So there was day 75. And then for day 76, we drew out a midnight blue. It's the Red Heart Super Saver Blue Wave yarn. And I was trying to figure out what to put on it. And my brain kept going back to something that you guys had been suggesting and guessing over and over and over again on my videos. And a bunch of you had been wanting to see um, this, but I remember 2 people off the top of my head. That is Sam over at Memphis Makes and Patricia over at the Yarning Cat Crochet. You guys wanted to see a Dobby with his sock from Harry Potter. And I ended up, this was just a little body form I had made when I was trying to figure out how to do my mummy several weeks back. And I ended up redoing it in white. And so I have this one in my box. Um, and I couldn't figure out what to do with it yet. And then I realized this is a perfect color for Dobby. And all I had to do was try and figure out the ears and try and figure out how to make his pillowcase that he wears and his little sock to make him a free elf. So I was super excited. I was able to get this done. And Sam and Patricia have said that they love how he turned out. So I'm glad their inspiration that made me put this on there. I'm glad I could bring that to life. So, and I'm hoping I can put together a pattern for this later on. I really want to because this one was so fun and I do love him. He's one of my favorites. So there was that one. And he was free-handed, so no pattern available. And then for day 77, we drew out a harvest gold colored square. And the more I looked at it, it reminded me of gourds in the fall. And so I was trying to figure out what to put on it, and I came across an applique that was so fall, and it reminded me of some things that I'd been seeing, some trucks hauling pumpkins lately in my area and while we were traveling. And my thought was they were either taking them to farmers markets or like fall festivals and things. And this pumpkin truck is by Crochet by Colleen, and it's just called the Pumpkin Truck Applique. And the information for this is down in the description box. It was pretty simple to make. It was quite a bit, each piece was different, so you had to sew them all together. She suggested hot glue gun, but I have used hot glue gun with appliques before, but because I'm thinking this blanket will get used quite a bit, I did not want to run the risk of hot gluing the pieces together. I just went ahead and sewed them on. So that was my pumpkin truck for day 77. Then yesterday, we drew at random our square for today, and it ended up being, oh, I got a fuzzy stuck. This C2C block with the Red Heart Super Saver jumbo stripes in neons. And I had thought about putting something on it, and I was battling off and on with a migraine yesterday, and I have tweaked my back so bad that I kind of gave up on the idea. And I read through your guys's suggestions and comments uh, last night and earlier today. And I'll, for those of you who haven't seen them, I will go through them real quick because there weren't, but maybe four. Sam from Memphis Makes said she loved the pumpkin truck. I vote leave it blank and give yourself a night off to recover from the migraine. And that I did because it was trying to come back and then it would stop and then try to come back. So I was like, don't push it, Missy. Do not push it as much as I wanted to. And then Patricia from the Yarny Cat Crochet said, sorry that you haven't been feeling well. Thank you. I hope it gets better. Migraines are awful. Yes, they are. You have every right to be proud of Dobie. Watch this one with my mom. Aw. Hi, Patricia's mom. That truck is super cute. Either leave it or put a couple set of eyes in the black triangles like something is peeking out. That is a brilliant idea. And I may just do that later on if I don't use this for one of the larger appliques that needs to take up space of 2 blocks. If I don't end up putting anything on it, I may crochet some big eyes like something spooky peeking out at you. I'm writing that down, Patricia, so I will not forget. And then Lisa from Lisa's Knit said, hi, Missy. And then Ranee from the Woolly Llama Shop said, your pumpkin truck is adorable. I definitely do not have one of those in my blanket lineup. I'm guessing that you will leave it blank. Um, I'm really surprised that's not in your lineup, Rainy. I think you have found almost everything under the sun, honestly. But now you have one more to add, right? Um, so yeah, those were your comments and suggestions, and thank you guys for wishing me well with the migraine and stuff. Today it's not so bad. I just kind of have a dull nagging kind of thing. So I'm just kind of watching what I'm doing. Yeah. So those are squares day 71 through 78. So let's draw at random our next square for tomorrow and see what we're working with tonight. All righty, guys. Another one. I'm going to have to veto this because we just did one in the neons. Let's do something different. Okay, we'll go with this one. We had to veto the other one because yesterday's square was in the neons, and even though it was C2C and that one was Granny, I didn't want two of them back to back. So today's square is brought to you by Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Stripes in the Brights. Another one of these that I used a whole skein to make a bunch of different squares. I love these colors. I love how these are flowing. So, should I leave this one blank to get ready for some of those extra large appliques that ate their Wheaties, or shall we put something on it? I don't know. You're going to have to come back tomorrow for day 79 and see what we did with it. So there's that. So I guess with that, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. And just to let you know, I think I am almost caught up on all of responding to comments, and I got so far behind with vacation, and everything kind of snowballed. I got behind when we were sick and everything else, and then vacation came, and things have been crazy busy since we've been back. I think I'm like this close to being caught up. I think I have some emails I got to check into, and then some texts and Facebook messages, and then we should be good. And then maybe, hopefully, I can keep up on a daily basis. So, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. What do you guys think? I think it's pretty. I like the colors. That is gorgeous. So, what do you guys think? Put your suggestions, guesses, comments in the comment section, and we will see what we did with it tomorrow for day 79. So, with that, I'm going to let you guys go, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Love you bunches. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.